Hey, hello everybody. This is Steve Hughes, and I am here today with my first installment of Ordinary People, Extraordinary Grit. And when we talk about grit, we're talking about that courage and resolve, or that strength of character that a lot of people display, and I really feel that we all have deep down inside of us. And I want to share stories with you of ordinary people like you and me. You know, nobody knows, they're not superhuman, they're not superstars. No, they're superstars to some of us. They're not super athletes, they're not superheroes, but they're just ordinary people, and they are overcoming unique challenges that they face in their lives. And I think it's important that we all have an opportunity to listen to and share some of the experiences of others. I think it helps us uh, temper our the issues that we all go through a little bit, and brings us kind of down a little bit to reality. I know for me, it does, to be able to talk to and meet others who have overcome these things. It just makes me grateful for a lot of stuff. And it also inspires me to be able to know that there are others out there just trying to live the best life they can with what they have, and turning those half fulls into full glasses here, right? So today I'm going to be interviewing and talking to Jeri Loranzan, and she lives in Dayton, Ohio, and works as a clinical social worker with the primary mental health integration team at the Dayton VA hospital. In fact, that's where I met Jeri a few years back, doing a training there at the Dayton VA, and I was inspired then and remain to be inspired. So in 2006, Jeri, you were at the age of 23, you were diagnosed with Stargardts Disease, and at that time you were identified as legally blind. So tell us a little bit more about your condition and those events around that time when you found out.
Okay. Stargardts disease is a rare form of macular degeneration that leads to legal blindness and occurs in younger people. And it affects the central vision, so the things that you're looking directly at, and typically leaves the peripheral vision intact.
Okay, so at that time, at the age of 23, you were an LPN at the time, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. So what was your initial reaction when the doctor told you you were legally blind, and that you were going to eventually completely lose your vision?
Well, really, it felt like quicksand. It felt like, the bottom had been pulled out from under me, and I felt really off center and could not believe that it was happening. I had actually been diagnosed at 23 and did not get told that I was legally blind until I was 31, because my vision had stayed stable for a while. So it was just really hard to believe that it had actually happened. And as I sat there in the examination chair at the Cleveland Clinic, they were parading in medical students and residents to take a look at my eyes, because it wasn't something they commonly saw. And I just kept thinking to myself, please wake up from this dream. And that's in stark contrast to my reaction when I was originally told I had the condition, because my doctor had called me by phone and told me that I had this rare condition that was going to lead to legal blindness. And by the way, there's no cure, there's no treatment. So then I was in absolute disbelief. I did not think it could possibly be real. And I was waiting for someone to kind of debunk that.
Hmm.
And then at Cleveland Clinic, I was told it had all come to pass.
Okay, I can only imagine, honestly. So during those first few days, weeks, and even months, or even years, did you ever consider giving up?
Yeah, I definitely did. But at first, it was about really trying to plan my life, because the doctor in Cleveland had told me that it wasn't realistic to think that I could continue working, and certainly not being a nurse and, not having enough vision. So those first few days and weeks were about turning in my notice at work and figuring out how I was going to retire and apply for Social Security disability and all that. So it was really task oriented. It was after some of those things settled down and I was sitting at home alone during the day when my husband was at work and the kids were at school, and I normally would have been at work, that I really started to struggle and really fell into a deep depression.
Hmm.
It was very, very difficult.
Yeah, that's and so yeah, that's and then to think that you possibly have to change all of your plans and stuff as well. So okay, well that's good. So let's see. So I know it was tough, working through those adjustments. I've had to work through adjustments. A lot of us do. So what was it that kept you going in your life and with your situation?
Well, I got to a point where I just really had this aha moment and thought, I'm 31 years old and my life cannot just be about sitting at home feeling sorry for myself. So I decided that's not how it was going to be and that I wanted to go back to school. So once again, I had an opportunity where I was trying to make some things happen in my life that kind of distracted me from all of the negative emotions related to it. So I started training to go back to college, and I went and got a guide dog and had to do a bunch of testing and learn new devices that would help me get through college. And at one point my son asked me, how can you believe in God anymore with all of this going on? And I told him it's because of my faith that it was helping me get through all of the difficult times. So I definitely relied a lot on my faith, and certainly my family and friends as well.
Great. It's great to have that support network in times like that, for sure. Absolutely important. So, I mean, obviously your condition's not going to get any better at this point. So as you continue to face challenges, and I say that, and maybe who knows, maybe they'll find. I always hope that someday, they'll be able to do something, and I'll get that, that feeling and that use back in my leg. We never know, right? But we try to stay positive. So as you continue to face these challenges in your life, how do you stay focused on your goals? Because I know you have some really, really great goals still out there. How do you stay focused on those goals, and why is giving up still not an option for you?
I'm able to stay focused on them by not trying to go for the big picture. So, I do things in a stepwise fashion. If I can just get through this one thing, then I can get to the next thing, and so on. And, I've always had the sense that I would really be ashamed and embarrassed if I gave up, and that I need to demonstrate to my children that it's possible to overcome these things. There's a saying that you may see me struggle, but you will never see me quit. And I think I really live by that. I have days that, I do want to give up. And I did when I was in my social work undergrad program and in grad school. I would go to bed every night, determined that I was going to wake up the next morning and go and quit school. And
Hmm.
then I'd wake up the next day and I'd feel okay again. So, there's a lot of times that it's a struggle, but I just keep pushing through.
Good. I'm glad you're pushing through. So you kind of mentioned this, but those low moments, and we all have them, right? What are the things that you do to get you through those low moments that you still experience?
Well, I've discovered that there are things that just simply make me feel good. And I think anybody who's able to figure this out about themselves has a real gift. And for me, it's things like certain types of music just makes me feel good, or getting my toenails painted, or watching some stand-up comedy. So I can kind of pull myself from the negative emotion into a more positive one by doing those types of things.
Maybe I should go try to get my toenails painted and see if that helps. So I'm not sure my wife would appreciate that, but might be
Probably
fun,
not.
right? So, all right. So, as we wrap this up, and first, I want to just say that as I said earlier, you've been an inspiration. I love your story. I love following you, and your continued pursuit of everything, and it rubs off. So, and one of the reasons why I wanted to share this with others out there who follow me and what I'm trying to do to help lift others up out of their funk, because there are a lot of people who have a harder time pulling themselves out, and I think it's important that people see that there's a lot of us out there, and and you don't have to be alone, and people are doing it, and you can do it too. So as we wrap this up, Jeri, what advice would you give? What advice do you give the people watching this out there that are facing other challenges or obstacles in their lives? What's your advice for them moving forward?
I want them to know that having a disability or facing different challenges in life, it's not a life sentence to despair and stagnation. It really isn't. And nor is it an end to people's dreams or purpose in life. Our dreams and our purpose might have to evolve and change, but we can still have a life that we value, and we need to be kind to ourselves too, because there are going to be moments where we're not feeling well, when we're angry and sad and frustrated and all those things. And it's okay to have those emotions as long as we don't live there, as long as we pick ourselves up and then kind of move on.
Yeah. Very, very, very good advice. So again, Jeri, I just want to thank you so much. Again, folks, we've been talking with Jeri Loranzan, and if you're ever in Dayton, Ohio, and near the VA hospital, go look her up and give her a high five, because she's doing what I hope most people would do when faced with the challenge, and that's kick its butt and meet it head on. I'm trying to do that as well, and I just hope others will continue to do the same. So Jeri, again, thank you so much for joining us today, and we all wish you the greatest luck moving forward, and just keep fighting, right? Keep pushing and doing what you're doing.
I sure will.
I know you will. Thanks again, Jeri.